Hello, everyone. This is Dr. White with some guidance on how to write up a good JavaScript file showing your solutions to exercises in the basic JavaScript part of our course. So I'm just going to pretend that we have some kind of chapter 0 set of exercises that really only has one problem in it. And that one problem asks you to make a program that writes out a very simple pattern of hashtags to the console. So here's the desired output in the console: one hashtag, then two, then three, then two, then one. So you'll notice that the description of this problem right here is actually part of my solution file. It's in what we call a comment. A forward slash followed by a star begins a block of comments, and a star and then a backslash, and star and then another forward slash ends that block of comments. Everything else between is ignored as not being actual computer code. So all these other stars are ignored. And all of this text, this explanatory text, is ignored. And all of these stars up to that last one, but not including it, are ignored. They're part of the comment. So that's a way to get a multi-line comment into JavaScript. The extra stars are really just there to set off the comment a little better for everybody. If you want to do comments just one line at a time, then you only need two forward slashes, and then everything else on that line is considered a comment. So you'll notice I've got a couple of one-liners at the top saying the name of the assignment and who I am. And then for every problem, I'm going to have a comment block that includes a pretty good description of the problem, along with any overall general comments on how I got my solution. So looking at the, and I'm sorry, this text isn't supposed to be here. Let's get rid of it. Looking at this solution, I set up what we call an array. We'll learn about those probably after you see this video. They're like vectors in R, and the array is called symbol counts. And it tells me how many hashtags are supposed to appear on each line: one, then two, then three, then two, and then one. That's how it's going to be used anyway. And then notice more comments here describing what's going to happen next. I've got a for loop, and it works a lot like for loops do in R, where you iterate over the values of a vector. For let count, this is our index variable we're setting up. The of is kind of like the in R, and the iterable here is symbol counts. So we're going to iterate, and count is going to become one, then two, then three, then two, and then one. And what do we do every time with each of these values? We console.log, meaning print out to the console, the string star repeated count times. So let's just test it to see how it works. And if you have the Code Runner extension installed in your VS Code, then you're going to see a little Run Code button up here, and you can just press it. And pow, up pops a terminal if you don't have one already. But you don't have the terminal tab at the moment active. You have an output tab active. And what has happened is that Node has been called up to run this JavaScript. You can see Node and then the name of the file here in quotes. And sure enough, out comes the desired output, so your program worked. If you want to see your terminal, you can just click on terminal. If you want to see the output, go for output. Great. Notice I am using some techniques you probably haven't learned at the time that you see this screencast. So you don't know about arrays, you maybe don't know that fancy use of for loops yet. And with that in mind, I've got some links here to where you could study about this. So the specific way I solve the problem is not so important here. It's that I'm documenting carefully with comments how the little program is working. And I'm also giving some references explaining how I learned about the various things that I needed to put this short program together. That's going to be very useful when you are preparing to present your solution orally. And so these comments are a very important part of your overall work. Anyway, you would take that file and in your repository, you would put it underneath the appropriate directory, JS Basic or whatever for the section of the course we're in, and push the changes up to GitHub. And then when you're absolutely sure that everything is like you want it, then open an issue asking me to mark that assignment. That's all for now. Hope that is helpful.